Likely everyone has heard the tragic story about the camper that was killed up near Moose Creek a few days ago. I think it might even have made national news. I don't want to go into details about the murder except to say that it was gruesome, it was tragic, and it was completely out of the ordinary for this area. However, it does raise questions about the area's increasing population and thus increasing crime rate. And it puts everyone a little on edge just about the safety of Bozeman as it grows and expands. All right, so I want to start off by being very clear about something. Bozeman is the safest of Montana's 7 largest cities. It's not a crime-free paradise, but by the numbers, it's the best you're going to get in the state. The numbers show Bozeman has an average of 68 crimes per 1,000 people, which could seem high, but when compared to other cities like Butte and Great Falls, is actually pretty impressive. Missoula and Butte are sitting around 100 crimes per 1,000, and Great Falls has a shocking 140 crimes per 1,000 people. And in Bozeman, those crimes mostly can be chalked up to assaults, sex crimes, intimidation, as well as theft, fraud, and vandalism, which, when written out, sounds pretty scary. But when compared to other cities just across the country of similar size, kind of comes with the territory. And I'm not saying that there is an acceptable amount of crime, but the truth is, not all people are good, and when you get enough of them together, those bad ones are gonna surface. Bozeman saw a 3% growth in population just over the last year, and we're now sitting at almost 60,000 people. And there's just no chance that with that many people, you aren't gonna have some crime. So let me start off by saying the Bozeman Police Department are rock stars, despite having to fight an increasingly steep uphill battle. The department really hasn't seen a significant staffing increase since '07, and that was when our population was 35,000. And yet they took over 45,000 calls last year alone. And the shortage of new hires makes, unfortunately, complete sense. What the media has done in the last few years to tarnish the reputations of cops across the country is inexcusable, and a major reason we're seeing less and less new officers. Why would anyone want to do one of the most dangerous jobs in the world for pay that leaves a lot to be desired, all while being badmouthed and hated for it? I wish I could laugh at the hypocrisy of it all, but truly it makes me nauseous. And despite their spread-thinnedness, the Bozeman PD are the reason why it remains the safest place in the state. Every time I interact with the police here, I'm reminded of why they are such a rare breed. They, and by they, I mean every single individual cop that I've worked with, has been prompt, thorough, and incredibly helpful. I mean, I've been pulled over 3 times now for minor traffic infractions and have yet received a ticket or a fine. And most of those interactions, they turned into a friendly conversation about the city itself or where I was just riding the dirt bikes in the back of my truck. Now, I'm not saying that if you're an asshole to the cops, that they're just gonna sit there, smile, and take it. But if you're respectful and you're not clearly lying through your teeth, I would be shocked if you didn't receive the same treatment back. I am a big fan of the Bozeman PD, and that's coming from someone who definitely wouldn't have called cops his friends back when he was a young buck. Nevertheless, with more people comes more crime, and Bozeman saw a 28% increase in felonies over the previous year, and an increase in the severity of those crimes as well. The little Rocky Mountain brother, he got his driver's license and is turning into the Rocky Mountain man, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. But actually, that's only partially true. Both the city legislators and the police force are doing everything they can to help us grow into the metropolitan man that we were meant to be. This coming month, we'll have an opportunity to vote on a first responder mill levy that looks to fund an increase of 30 new police officers and 22 firefighters, as well as their support staff, and funds to build a new fire station on Bozeman's growing west side, which would ultimately bring down first responder response times, which is something we could use because we currently sit 4 minutes over the national average. This proposed property tax increase averages out to about a $33 per month increase for each single family homeowner spread out over the next 5 years. At the rate things are going, that's probably about what you'll be paying for Netflix, and it's way more important. But here are my thoughts on the current state of things. I've been out here almost 10 years now, and despite the population increase and our newly acquired urban campers, Bozeman is still the same safe place it was when I first moved out here. I don't worry about leaving my door unlocked or my cars running, and the bikes sitting unlocked on my side yard, they stay right where they're supposed to. I've never felt threatened or intimidated, and I bartended downtown for the first few years I was here. And I really don't worry about letting my girls go downtown or to the mall alone. My garage full of tools and toys, it sits wide open for most of the summer, and everything stays right where it should. For a growing city of its size, I can't really imagine a safer place than Bozeman, and it has to do with the police and the people. This is still a neighborly city, and the vast majority of people here follow the golden rule. And I also think that it helps that we have very accommodating gun laws. I assume everyone out here is carrying, and I'm not gonna lie, it keeps me on my best behavior. Okay, so let's recap this week's Brainstorm. Bozeman is the safest city in Montana, despite its police and fire departments being understaffed and somewhat spread thin. But those understaffed police are some of the nicest and most helpful city employees in existence. Crime is increasing as population increases, and to combat that, we're voting for a small property tax increase to hire more cops and more firefighters and build them a new home on the west side. And Bozeman is still and will forever remain the best place to live in the Rockies, and you can fight me on it. Thanks for tuning in to another Bozeman Brainstorm, and I'll see you next week.